You are being programmed.
Right guys, welcome to What the Flock TV Bite Size. So in this bit of flockage for you guys, this bite size video, I'm going to talk about the Great Vowel shift, vowel to L, or the Babble effect. I've renamed it a couple of times because I've remade the video, but if you've not saw it, I'll put the full video in the description for you, so please check it out. But it's about the reset for me, a period in time where everything changed, languages, science, the realm that we actually live in, everything. So you have to buckle up because it'll blow your mind. It's one of my favourite videos and topics, the Great Vowel shift. So hopefully you guys appreciate and will enjoy it. Have you heard of the Great Vowel shift? It's the greatest reset ever happened and no one knows. The Great Vowel what? I've never heard of that. Well, not many people have. It was hidden in plain sight. Between the 12th, 13th and 19th centuries, they changed everything. How we wrote, how we spoke, and they introduced the doctrine, what we today call science. So let's start by breaking the word vowel down. Vowel becomes vowel, a vow to God. And the God in question is the entity known as Janus, known to them as God of Gods, Deus Deorum Este. Anyone that's not sure what vow means, well, we're talking about vowel, the vow to God. The vow is a solemn promise, a set of solemn promises committed, one to prescribed role, calling of course of action, typically to a marriage or a monastic career. Another one is a solemnly promise to do a specific thing, an archaic, dedicated to someone or something, especially a deity. I vowed myself to this enterprise is an example. origins are from the Latin votum, vow, vote, and we put votes and we put them in a black box. So we are promising and dedicating ourselves to that deity or the person who's been chosen. So it comes from, like I said, the Old English vow from Latin votum. And I'll just put this on the screen there. In ancient Roman religion, a votum, plural vota, is a vow or a promise made to a deity. The word comes from the past participle of the Latin verb voveo or vovea, a vow or a promise. So the great vowel shift is, as we can see, a vow to L, a vow to God, a promise. Because that is what I see in the word when I broke it down. Great vowel, a vow to L. And as I've just showed you, the actual God they are vowing to is none other than Janus or Janus. So let's look at the vowels, the vow to God. They are A-E, I-O-U. And some of you will be saying, and sometimes, why? But what's funny, and this just got me straight away when I originally made this, and it's the fact that an IOU, abbreviated from the phrase I owe you, is usually an informal document acknowledging debt. An IOU differs from a promissory note in that an IOU is not a negotiable instrument and does not specify repayment terms such as time of repayment. So in a vowel, we have a vow to God and we have an IOU. We're in debt. Who are we in debt to? Who do we owe? What do we owe? So these are the things that's always intrigued me about the vowels and the vows to God. Are they saying that we are in debt? Is this why they are taking energy or something? What are we owing and what do we have to repay? So some of these are questions that still will wrap my brain today, but I just thought, you know what, I'm just going to redo my Great Vowel Shift video, and I still can't get my head around this with the vowels. You have the vow to God and you have an IOU in those vows. Who are we in debt to? It's obvious. They believe it's Janus. As we know, science is a religion. Now, one big thing that they claim was invented in the Great Vowel to L shift period was the scientific method. How big is that? Well, if science is a religion, just have a look at this. So the Great Vowel shift was a changing of the vows to God. Now, one of the big, huge things, the doctrines, is science, is the religion. Now, one of the biggest things created in this time period was the actual method of how they collect information or solve problems. It's called the scientific method. It is the problem, observation, hypotheses, experimentation, data analysis, your conclusion, and then you repeat if need be. So the hugest, biggest thing to the religion, the science, is the actual method, and that was created in this time period. So science is a religion. I've just showed you the scientific method. Remember the scientific method I used and showed you? Purpose, P, research, A, hypothesis, H, experiment, E, analysis, A, and conclusion, C. So what do we have? We have the actual first letters of the scientific method actually spell preach. That is a wow to me. It's weird when you don't look at these things, but the scientific method spells preach. It's a religion. They are preachers. Oh, they are
preacher.
Preacher or preachers, plural. A person who preaches, especially a minister of a religion. Science is the religion. In plain black and white there now, guys.
Preacher.
I just thought it was too much of a coincidence not to put that actually in about how that scientific method I found spelled
preacher.
Preacher. or preach, obviously. But they are preachers. Right guys, this is in no particular order, and I'm going to show you all the things that were brought in this time period that you might not realise, because I was like this when I first looked into this. You don't realise certain things were invented in specific times. Then you realise that there was a Great Vowel 12 shift, a big reset that no one knows, and then you go, wow, yeah, now it makes more sense with things were brought in. So one of the things that was changed in this time period was the shape of this realm. If people believe that this realm is this shape, and this shape, please don't get triggered. I'm only showing you why and what was brought in this time period. And one of the biggest things was Copernicus and his Copernican heliocentric model, and it's given to the astronomical model developed by obviously Nicolaus Copernicus, and was published in 1543 in this time period that I'm talking about. The model positioned the sun near the centre of the universe, motionless, with Earth and other planets orbiting it around its circular paths, modified by epicycles and at uniform speeds. So you can see the significance already, and you've only seen one thing that happened in this time period, and there's so more. I'm just going to show you a few to give you the flavour, and if you want to look more, please just check out the video in the description. It's not just televisions or televisions that are used for mass programming and mind control. People just seem to home in on the television and forget everything else that there is out there. What about the printing press? This was invented in the Great Vowel to L shift by Johannes Gutenberg. Now people could mass produce leaflets and books on a mass level. It's just a coincidence that Johannes is a derivative of Janos. So you just got to think now in our history, because of the mass producing of leaflets and books now, because of the printing press process, you got leaflets in World War II, Afghanistan. You have propaganda posters, you have comics. Everything was released as propaganda and mind control to get in your head, to show you what power they can do with their narrative. So the printing press is a huge moment in his story. So it has to go down as that in itself. So this is a huge moment of, and I'm part of the Great Vowel to L shift. Next up is William Gilbert, first man to research the properties of a magnet. Born May the 24th, 1544, known as Father of Electricity. Gilbert started as a physician and served Queen Elizabeth I and King James I. They say he discovered laws of attraction and repulsion between magnets, published findings in De Magnetis 1600s, and invented the term electricity, laid the foundations for discovery around electricity. Gave food for thought to Galileo, who went on to propose that the earth revolves around the sun, and another one has been tied to his way of thinking, became the model for the scientific method. There's so many people even earlier, and that one was Al-Biruni, I believe. But again, I'm just showing you the significance. Remember in my L11 video where electric means the realm of the jurisdiction of L? So it's intriguing if you believe in a circuit board Earth and motherboard Earth, that in this time period, the guy known as William Gilbert is a father of electricity and all that he's done. So you can just see how intriguing it is. Again, linking it with this vowel shift period. Right guys, I just quickly want to show you, like, this is just using the online etymology dictionary. Now, trending words, if trending word, 10 trending words. I'm not going to go through all 10. This is a bite-sized video, so I think I did it in the longer version. And I just want to show you that, look, trend 1590, it's in the Great Vowel shift period. You're telling me words and etymology did not go back any further? Let's pick another one. Woven. And where was the date? 14th century. Again, it's that time period. Look, in the Great Vowel shift. Philosophy. 13th century. So you're getting words always seem to, the etymology words seeming to start from 12th to 13th century onwards. Now we know words were spoken beforehand. Well, we think so. Did we use our minds? But what I'm saying is most words, most etymologies start in that time period, because that's when the language was changed. So it's just crazy, isn't it? And that's just what I wanted to show you in this, that most etymologies of words, if you go and have a look for yourself, will start from the 12th century onwards. Just something cool and intriguing for us to look at. So, Janos, main names in Rome are Ianos and Janos, I and J. Now, people in the community have been basically theorising, debating for ages on what the I and the J represents. And along comes me with my theory of the Great Vowel shift and Janos. As you can see a few examples of the I and the J on the screen. Well, I can tell you, it's for Janos, the god. This is what the period is all about. Remember, Janos is the calends, which calendar comes from. Then you get the statement, well, the letter J is a recent thing. I know. And you'd be right. The letter J was formed in 1524 by the guy seen in the picture. His name is Gian Giorgio Trissino, who was credited with the letter J. What do you notice? Yep, his name is a derivative of Janos, and the formation of the letter was in, yep, you got it, in the vowel shift period. It was all done by design. Another thing they did in the vowel shift, and this just blew me away when you first see it, is that they lost 11 days. 11 days. And this was in 1752. 11 days. It could have been anything else, but no, 11. We all talk about which is the biggest reset, and I've talked about this, the Great Vowel to L shift being the biggest. Now think about it. You want to bring in a big, huge reset. What do? You cull the population first. Get rid of as many as you can first. For instance, look at the Black Death. That got rid of a lot of bodies. That's a good start if you want to bring in and changing the language. Think about it. The Black Death, and it's all part of history, ravaged Europe between 1347 and 1351. Estimated 75 to 200 million deaths. That's wiped out. Then, that's in the beginning, or well, roughly the beginning of the Great Vowel shift period. It makes sense, doesn't it, if you're an arch-evil villain? Think about it. We also had smallpox. 25 to 56 million deaths, and that happened from 1520 to 1600. Again, I'm just using smallpox for the Spanish did to, South America and the Aztecs, etc. But what I'm saying is, think about it. Get rid of a lot of the population, then bring in all these changes. It's a lot easier to do and can control. Firstly, if you get triggered, walk away now, because you will do after this, especially about the Bible and things like that. I must say thank you to Session on the Nile, who persisted and berated me into watching a video that revealed this last bit, which is icing on the cake to my theory. It is the why they have done the Great Vowel shift. Now this is from the first book of IEOU. Sounds like the vowels, doesn't it? This is the book of the Gnosis, insight of the nature of the invisible God by the means of the hidden mysteries which show the way to the chosen race. Basically, those who follow the instruction to walk the inner pathway through the mind. Now, you can either believe in the Gnosticism, which I believe means knowledge, or you don't. It's like I said, if you get triggered, it just means you're under a spell. I look at all information and treat with respect, because I'm here to find a path, and this is what my path is laid out for me, and I've found this, and it just makes so much sense to me. Correlation between various theories and interpretation of the name of God. A-E-I-O-U. That's the vowels used to signify a monotheistic or ultimate supreme being from which all other divine attributes derive, has been a subject of ecumenical discourse between Eastern and Western scholars for over 2 centuries. In Christian theology, the word must be a personal and a proper name of God. Hence, it cannot be dismissed as a mere metaphor. On the other hand, the names of God in different traditions are sometimes referred to as symbols. The question whether the divine name used by different religions are equivalent has been raised and analysed. So this is just the point of the video. A lot of people use different names, but this one is the vowels. Elsewhere in the book of I-E-O-U. Jesus reveals to his disciples the magical names, numbers and seals they will need in the afterlife ascent to the realm of light. Here is an example of Jesus' instructions. When you reach the fourth aeon, Samaelo and Kunokokuka, whatever it is, will come before you. Seal yourself with the seal. This is the name Azoze, I think. Says it only once. Hold the cipher 4-5 in your hands. When you have finished sealing yourself with the seal and you have said in the name only once, say these defences. Also withdraw yourself, Samaelo. Sounds like Samael. And your archons. Archons, arches. Who's the god of arches? Janus. So this is from the book of I-E-O-U, which is vowels. So these in this, they're telling you about the power of words. And why would you change the vowels and the length of it if it's not to change this? And this bit coming up answers it. It's from the dialogue of the Saviour. The Saviour said to the disciples, I opened the path and I taught them about the passage through. When the time of dissolution arrives, the first power of darkness will come upon you. Do not be afraid. If you are afraid, it will engulf you, for there is not one among them who will spare you or show you mercy. This next bit. But look upon the archon without fear, since you have mastered every word on earth. The crossing place is fearful, but you, without a single mind, will pass it by. The dialogue of the Saviour. It's telling you there, we have to master every word in this realm to ascend. This is to heaven. Now, what better way to have a reset, cull all the population, let them keep reincarnate back into the physical realm and change the sounds, change the words that we need to learn to master every word on the earth. It's basically there in writing there, and that was a wow for me. It just blew me away. Absolutely. The sounds of the double long vowels are superior to the short semi-vowels. The sounds of the short semi-vowels are superior to the voiceless consonants. The sounds of the aspirate consonants are superior to the inaspirate or voiceless consonants. All these consonants, the nomenclature of the gods and the angels, i.e. the archons. It's basically telling you the vowels, the high vowels are to get you higher, and the low consonants and the vowels to keep you down here. It's mind-blowing. And this is from the Gospel of the Egyptians. It says, the word who came forth from the silence, he whose name is an invisible symbol, a hidden invisible mystery come forth. And that's his name. According to this book, it is I-E-O-U-E-A-O. So it's I-E-O-I-O. Now, if you was a masterly villain and you wanted to keep the souls, the spirit, the energy in this realm, in prison, in the cells, what better way than to change how we spoke, how we wrote? Then you will not master every word that you need to pass through the different gates, the different doorways, because I believe there's 7 and an archon guards each door, and you have to know his name and the secret names, and if not, you can use the sigils. So this just blew me away, and this is just answered why they brought the Great Vowel shift in, to stop us from ascending. Like I've been talking in my videos, to stopping us from ascending, they've changed the vowels. Right guys, just a little bit more and then I'm going to be going to my thoughts. And this last bit I found here, you can say a vowel as long as you have breath. Breath is spirit. Consonants stop the air flowing through the vocal tract. The vocal, the voice of God. You might be wondering, why is he showing a dictionary for the word
device?
Device. Well, I'm combining 2 videos now. I've just redone this video that you saw so far from an old video. That's why it looks particularly different, and I've included it's more better fit and it flows better. But in another video I did on the vowels. Now what if I could tell you that the vowels A-E-I-O-U were coined as a
device?
That would now make sense. A Holy Roman Empire, and I'm going to show you clips from my old video now. He coined that the vowels were a device. So let's have a look what a device actually means. A thing made or adapted for a particular purpose. especially a piece of mechanical or electronic equipment. A measuring device is an example used. But let's look at it again. A thing made or adapted for a particular purpose. The vowel shift was purposely brought in to do what I said in the title. The Babble effect. It is there to divide after a huge biological reset in the plague, to bring in their doctrine, their science. So it's a device made. Easier, makes us all divided, and we're easier to conquer. Another example, a bomb or other explosive weapon. Words can be weapons. A piece or portable electric equipment that can connect to the internet, such as a smartphone, tablet or laptop computer. We call our phones devices, and they do certainly divide us. A plan, a method or a trick with a particular aim. A form of words intended to produce a particular effect in a speech or a literary work. A-E-I-O-U being labelled as a device. Honestly, you cannot make this up. As I say, a drawing or design, an emblematic or heraldic design. The design or look of something. And as you can see, the origin of device comes from the Latin dividere. Sounds like divide. Latin divided. Device. Divis or devis comes through device. And that says Middle English, divis or device, based on the Latin divus, divided, from the verb dividere, the original sense of the desire or intention, found now only in leave something to their own devices. So there we go, guys. Now what's coming now is just clips from the old video called The Device, which is actually showing you that the Holy Roman Empire and King of the Holy Roman Empire quoted that the A-E-I-O-U was a device. Now that puts into fresh what the F. Now I've showed you that the Great Vowel shift was an event to disperse the population, to end any coming together of languages or understanding after the plague, after the smallpox. And then now there's a king actually of the Holy Roman Empire in the Great Vowel shift period at the beginning, coining the vowels as a device. Now you can just see, guys, and how big this is and how has it gone unmissed. And this is why I love doing what I do, just bringing all these things together, connecting it in my own way. You either believe it, take it on board as information, or discard it, whatever you guys want to do, but it's still new and pertinent information for me, because it's looking at things differently. People are talking about mud floods and everything else as a reset, yet resetting the language, like in the Tower of Babel sense, is a bigger device, a bigger reset for me. Right, guys, this is Frederick III. He's a member of the Habsburg family. He became the king of Germany and the Holy Roman Empire emperor in 1452. His motto, his monogram, his device was the vowels. And we know, you're just seeing what the device means. So if I'm talking about the Great Vowel shift and then the Holy Roman Empire emperor in the beginning of the Great Vowel shift, where we changed the vowels to L to change it to another god, we have a king, an emperor coming out with A-E-I-O-U, and he's calling that a device. Now the vowels is obviously how we speak, so if we change how we speak, you are dividing and conquering the people under you, because if you can't talk to each other, how are you going to stick together? And this is the whole point. It is a reset of the language, and this is all about Frederick III, and I want to cover a little bit more. This is his motto, A-E-I-O-U. Austria erit in orbo ultima, which means Austria will be the last surviving in the world. Crazy, guys, that not many people have heard of this. So to finish off this bite-sized video, here's a Holy Roman Empire basically crest. It's the eagle. Now what's funny, and just coincidence, guys, that in 1480 and a tiny bit earlier, they changed the crest to two-headed So we've had the vowel shift, we've had obviously the device, and now they've changed the crest to a double-headed eagle when all this great vowel to L shift is for Janos. Surely that's just a coincidence, though, and just me. Right, guys, hopefully you've enjoyed this bite-sized video of my great vowel shift Babble effects. If you, like I say, if you want to watch the full video, it's in the description.